As Wilco makes a run ahead of him. Bergkamp suddenly changed pace through the centre. It's Bergkamp! That's magnificent! The move, and then this, which left Dabby's ass totally stranded.
Hello and welcome to Bergkamp Wonderland. I honestly wasn't just doing the tweet and nearly forgot to cut and paste the right bit. And with me tonight, I have three wonderful guests. We're doing a very rare thing on ABW. We're actually going to have a fan of another team. It's Seb from. I've got this written down, Seb, so I don't forget. I didn't do it on the tweet. Now, where did I write it? Don't tell me. Don't ruin it. Here it is. It is Seb from the 7,500 to Holt, which is at 7500 TOHOLTE podcast. It is Seb. How are you doing, Seb?
Yeah, I'm good. I would have been a bit better had I been coming on and talking about a Villa 3 points, but apart from that, I'm not too bad. Hopefully you go easy on me and don't rub it in too much.
No, I don't think we'll do that because we've had many years of your lot turning us over and making us look ridiculous. What does the 7,500 in the 7,500 to Holt mean?
Oh, I wish you hadn't asked me that. I haven't got a clue.
Make it up. Just say that's how much the time.
Yeah, there's. Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, anyway, never mind. I was on his podcast and it went quite well, I think. I talked a lot of sense and didn't swear much. That won't be happening here. Our other guest is the man who I was convinced has been on this podcast many, many times over the years. Turns out he hadn't. He only made his debut. Well, I've known him for about 7 or 8 years. Only made his debut in the January Transfer Deadline Day show. It's James. How you doing, Treacle?
Hello. Yeah, very well, thank you.
You have the best stolen name on Twitter. LL Cool James. Is that it?
Yeah, with 91 at the end, just to have 91. The year of the. Yeah, because someone else had LL Cool James, so you have to put the year of the birth in there.
I wonder who would have had LL Cool James. Maybe Cool James, LL Cool J. The ladies love Cool James. Yes, we've talked about this before, and honestly, I honestly thought you had been on Met. The camera used to be over here, and then I moved it when I got another monitor. Then I'm talking to my telly. Yeah, you said you hadn't been on before, had you? Before the January transfer window.
No.
I still can't sleep over that. I feel ashamed. I think I've let the entire world down. So, are you excited?
Always. Pleasure to be here.
Good. Right. What would I do in? I shouldn't go and check my DMs, should I? Because it's always something I can't go and read in any kind of detail. Finally, the man who broke our Twitch raid virginity. He broke us in two and left us for dead. It's Nick. How do? You're right.
Yeah, I'm bored. There's no football on. It's all internationals.
It's bullshit is what it is. So you said that you had 15 people who were going to raid us and 3 of them fucked off. I hope you've banned those scumbags.
No, because they're my favourite people. Well, they also like Chelsea. So
how can you be friends with people who don't like football? Never trust a man who doesn't like football.
Exactly.
I've got. So we had a little chat, or they heard me talking to Sexy Frank. Sexy Frank isn't made up, and we were talking. Frank doesn't like football. He's been to one Arsenal game. Leeds beat us 3-1. He said, never again. I said, never fucking again. Never happening. Absolute shitbag. But he's Sexy Frank and he can do what he wants. Let's go and have a hello to some of the people in the chat. Moshin is there straight away. Hi, guys. Listening while doing my assignment. Looking forward to today's pod. What's the assignment, Moshin? Let us know. I might be able to help you out. If it's astrophysics, I'm your man. If it's women, Nick is your man. And if it's anything, I don't know what you're good at, James. Music.
Yeah, or wrestling from 90s to now, or hair
not
products.
You as well.
Oh yeah.
On the Sunday roast. That's because I started watching WWF in probably the mid 1980s on ITV, and I stopped watching it in the year 2001. So I had the glory years. So I can tell you all about that.
You're like quite a lot of them. A lot of them left the minute Stone Cold Steve Austin become a bad guy with Vince McMahon. That was people like, no, I'm fuck this. I'm done with this now. They're like, when your hero of all time becomes a baddie, you just no, I'm finished.
It was.
No, they had their rules in me for a long time, and they still have.
What's your top 3 favourite wrestlers?
Oh well, Stone Cold's got to be in there. Sad week for me last week as Razor Ramon. He was the first one that I ever really remember watching and becoming a fan of, just for the mannerisms and everything else. And the colours, when you're young, is the colours and everything gets you into it. And then, funny enough, again, because of colours, Bret Hart, just the fact that he was in pink. I just thought,
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed. Nick, do you have favourite wrestlers? Or do you just stick to Pokemon characters?
No, I like wrestlers like Eddie Guerrero and people like that. Eddie Guerrero was the best.
When he died, his ugly wife got a permanent lifetime deal with the WWF, didn't she?
Yeah, now she's in the one that the guy from Fulham owns. She's in AEW now as a nasty. Yeah, she's a nasty manager in that as well.
Vicky Guerrero is fit.
Hey?
Vicky Guerrero is well fit. I'll send you some pictures later.
She's got a face like a bag of wasps.
I know. It's great.
Not allowed it. Not having any of that. She can get fucked. Seb, do you like wrestling?
I don't know.
You don't like cats, you don't like wrestling. I tell you what, boy.
Those are the two things I don't like. You've caught me out on a bad day.
Okay, anyway. Right, Michael's there in Sweden. Right, Michael, the arson man, here to see Dora. Now, Dora. Probably scratching her ass on my bed. Oh, forget about that. Phil Macker is there. Curtis. Oh, fuck Curtis Tigers. Loki's there. Evening all. VJ. You made it for another show, VJ. What's the weather like where you are, VJ? We've had sunny days here. It's been a miracle. I've only people told me that because I didn't get up today. I didn't get out of bed today until 5:15. Got up for a week, went back to bed listening to what was it, LBC? Or was it Talk Radio? One of the two. Moaning about the they're moaning about the spring adjustment to ripping everybody off and making sure everybody freezes to death. Anyway. Mark is there. Oi, oi, Danny, James, Nick, and Sebastian. Hello. Gemini Jedi, have you watched 2,000 Goals yet? Someone, it's almost as if they know what I was going to bring up later. Spies watching me. Mark is there. It's crop rotation in the 14th century. Danny's I am on the way to University Chan. You remember that, James? Young ones?
Yes. Yeah.
Sat on the train and he's swatting up just before Eddie's head comes off. Was he called Eddie then?
Yeah.
Eddie Elizabeth Hitler. Any relation? Yes. That's that line. No, never more explained than that. Bret Hitman Hart, Big Boss Man, and The Undertaker. There's a bloke you should go and watch on. I'm not going to forget his name now, am I? Never mind, don't bother. Phil, Nick's from Norwich. They usually fancy that. I'm not having any of that, Nick. Do you want to suspend him for a little while? He's from Norwich as well.
Yeah, I've seen him around with his cousins all the time.
I suppose you two are related if you go back a little bit. Mark again. Tyrone Mings, a great wrestler based on how he took down Saka. Fuck Tyrone Mings. Legally, I'm obliged. Seb, you can now say fuck any Arsenal player. Who do you want to say it to? It's got to be fair.
To be fair, you were actually well behaved for the game. But I'll put my opinion in now. I don't think that the Tyrone Mings tackle was actually a foul. I know it's something we'll probably get onto in greater detail later, but I don't think that was a foul, let alone a red card.
Okay. VJ says, warm and sunny, Captain. Lovely, Dubby. Nick talking to the punters. Lovely. Vivian. Oh, it was called Vivian in the young ones. It was called...
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, me.
Phil's a London boy. No, he isn't. Oh, the Arsenal Luciador. Arriba! Hola from Tijuana, Arriba. I honestly thought that account was run by Mike Hertz. Apparently it isn't. And so I've been, I think the cool kids call it bantering. Back at 9 minutes, haven't even got to the fucking show yet. Bantering backwards and forwards, as the cool kids say, with the Arsenal Luchador, as if we were chums, like me and fake Mexican Mike Hertz are. Apparently, no, you're not. And he sent someone a T-shirt. You do T-shirts. You should put the link for your store if you've got one, Luchador, and I will share it with everybody. And I don't want anything for doing it. Right? Did I? Yes, I did. No, did I tweet from my own account that we're live? That would fucking help, wouldn't it? Oh dear. Is it? No, I haven't. Why not? Talking about yourself with my press buttons.
We never found out what assignment he was doing. I'm really interested. I'm invested in this assignment.
Oh, are you still in education?
I am. I'm at college.
Oh, what are you doing?
Sport. Shock.
All the people, my daughter's 23 and just finished uni. All of her mates who did sports science are now working in Tesco. Working Tesco. Excellent. That's the ones that have done well. Rudy's there. Hello and good evening all. And Sai says, hello, AB. Sai, anybody you want hashtag out? Chris has got on my nerves this week. I had to give him a telling off. He basically told me to get fucked. So, right, let's get on to the show. It's only taken us 10.5 minutes. Fucking hell, most podcasts will be done by now. The Villa game. I think it would only be fair and true and right if we let our guest Seb tell us what you thought about the Villa game. What did you think? How did you think it was going to go? Because fuck knows I can't remember what we talked about, and compare that to how it actually went. Because I thought you did all right.
I'm quite surprised that you thought that, because I genuinely think that was one of our worst games of the season so far, especially under Gerrard. We were really poor. We changed formation, which was an interesting decision. We'd finally seen Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings click. I think I mentioned this to you before the game. We talked about exactly how Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings had finally clicked together to be able to form a good partnership, and then he decided to scrap that and go with two number 10s, which the last time we played two number 10s we lost 1-0 to Newcastle. To Newcastle without scoring.
Did he say why he did that?
He didn't, and it wasn't due to injury, which made it even weirder. I was expecting. I think everyone sees Arsenal as if you can get at them from early on and you can put them under pressure, then there's a result to be had there. But we seem to sit back, and at home, I just think that's the wrong decision. You don't sit back against an Arsenal team who look increasingly growing in confidence in possession under Mikel Arteta, because they will punish you. And that's something that shocked me from Arsenal, is how good they were on the ball. They were playing passes, they looked tight, they looked compact, they looked composed. And yeah, in the end, I think 3 points was probably deserved for Arsenal. But yeah, we didn't deserve anything from the game at all.
Nick doing a little bit of moderating there. Phil Mack a bit of tit.
He's a wasted tit. I wouldn't expect anything differently from him.
Seb, you made a point there which is quite true. We actually look at this talking football like grown-ups. The old way used to be, James, didn't it? Where you come at Arsenal, quite frankly, don't like it up them. That's not the case anymore, is it? You bring it, we're bringing it more. We're bringing the big guns. Someone's going to get kicked and an eye poke.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. No, I agree. I think it's the best set of, the best word I can think of it is bastards. I think it's the best set of bastards that we've had for quite a while.
I've got Lucas in my nose for that.
People call it the dark arts or, cleverness or whatever. I just call it good old-fashioned bastardry. It's so. What I did like was when the Saka incident happened, I liked the fact that Lacazette, Gabriel and all, they were standing around the referee going, hey, look, you want to have another look at it? Because normally we're very kind, we just carry it on and let everything carry on and go about it. But no, I did like the fact that we were going, hey, you want to take a look at this? This is an injustice and everything else. And I thought that our togetherness showed all throughout the game. I mean, don't know if I'm jumping the gun here, but so rein me in if I am, but I've had my thoughts about Leno out there for many a year, but I did quite enjoy the fact that Ramsdale actually travelled up there to support him, and at the end when he embraced him and all the others did, I thought that was really nice.
Point in the chat, Seb, from Mark. He says, so maybe it was Arsenal that made Villa look so poor. Are you putting it all down to the tactics? Because that made no sense, not playing at home your best two on-form strikers that have built a partnership together. But do you think Arsenal had any part in making you not look so good?
100% that was a factor. I didn't want to say, the only reason Arsenal won is because Villa were so poor. I wanted to give you some credit, as much as it hurts me to say. But yeah, no, the 3 points were completely deserved for the away side on this occasion. But again, Danny Ings and Ollie Watkins, I just don't understand why you drop them. If there was an injury there, then maybe. There's always that thing of, we were trying to fit Buendia in, because before Coutinho came in, Buendia had been one of our best players this season, and you don't want your best players sat on the bench. And I think Gerrard finds the only way that he can accommodate Philippe Coutinho, Emile Buendia, Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings is to have one of them on the bench, and look, that's not going to be Coutinho anytime soon, so it's got to be either Buendia, Watkins or Ings, and it's a shame because I'd say they are our top 4 influential attacking players, so to have one of them on the bench isn't ideal. It would be nice if we could find a structure to play around them, but I wouldn't know how to do it, and that's why I'm not paid the big bucks.
I often say if Aslot knew anything about football, we wouldn't be sat here talking to each other. We'd be doing our best to get Barnet promoted from the conference or any local team. Nick, what did you think about the game? Because you're looking like you've... where's your beard gone?
It's gone.
Did you sell it?
Yeah, I sold it for spare parts.
Look at this one. This is so... I'd left over McDonald's last night to tonight, and as I'm eating it, it's going in my fucking mouth, and I'm pulling hairs. I went, it's coming off. I've had enough. I'm not putting up. I shouldn't have to put up with it, Nick. No one needs hairs in their mouth when they're eating McDonald's, do they?
Plus, I put my coat on for work, and I all got caught in the zip, and all ripped. And I thought, no, that's coming off. I had enough of that.
No, I've not left the house since the 26th of November.
Well, go out then. I'll come and get you. I'm off this week. I'll come up and pick you up. Take you wherever you want to go.
You want to come over, Nicky boy? You feel free to come over.
Don't tell me. I don't know your address. You know that.
You don't. Oh, we got a raider. My daughter comes in and in fact, Seb, there's this bit. It's podcasting legend. My daughter didn't know that we were live, and she shouted from the toilet, "I'm having a poo!" So that's we used to do edits and have them all as Christmas special, but that's back in the days when I could be bothered. Nick, what did you think about the game? Because I was somebody put it in the chat here. Oh, here we go. Rudy put Villa game. It was easier than I thought. I honestly thought we'd maybe get a draw out of that because they are a really good team full of really good players, and they're going places with Gerrard, aren't they?
Yeah, that seemed like a game a few years ago. We probably would have definitely drew, maybe lost, because, like I say, Villa tried it on like a lot of other clubs had tried to make it a bit of a scrappy sort of game, and we just somehow seemed to match them and out-bastard their bastard tactics, as we said it, which before we normally just, roll around on the floor and cry and wave at the ref, and Giroud is doing that thing with his fingers, and the ref just laughs at us, and we normally end up losing. But that's good that we can actually mix it up a lot more with these sort of tactics when it gets like that.
It is indeed. BX wants to know, is any of that merch left? I haven't made it yet. I'm only gonna do these t-shirts, and they're gonna look good. But there's a woman who lives in where is it? Not Waterboys, a little bit further north. Nope, can't remember. About 15 minutes from here, and lots of latecomers. Jimmy is here. Mr. Boblex is there. Bobby, check your bill there. Screen Boy is here. Oh yes, all these people. There's 30 people watching. Haven't you people got anything better to do with your time than listen to us talk nonsense? Apart from Seb and possibly James, they won't. Can't guarantee they'll be talking nonsense. Yes. So what else did I want to talk about the game? There was something else I wanted to bring up. Yeah, continue looking at the Opta stats for the game. Coutinho only got a 6.5. Seb, are you able to put your finger on why Coutinho is a star man on match of the day sometimes and setting up goals and scoring? Because his record, considering he's only been in that team for a little while, is really good. And what happened today? Was he told to not do his magic? Because I think there was the only decent bit of play that I remember him having is when you had a free kick, and I think that might have been about the only time that he was any kind of danger towards us. And also, how much are you paying him a week? Do you know?
He cut his wages significantly. I think it's about 150, maybe 200, 150. I think.
And how much is the next highest? How does he go? How much is the next highest player at Villa earning?
I think Danny Ings is probably next on 100. Don't quote me on that though.
Oh, fuck me. I bet he's popular in the dressing room, isn't he? Yeah, so what do you think? Why don't you think Coutinho is utilised properly? And what does Gerrard, I'm not going to call him Gerrard, what do you think he has to do to get the best out of him? Because personally, if I was manager, I'd say, you, Coutinho, go and do whatever the fuck you want. Everyone give him the ball at every opportunity.
I mean, that's what we did with Grealish for many years, and look how we fared when he left. I honestly, I don't want to put it down completely to the system, but ever since we've played two cams, he's been piss poor. He's been non-existent in the game. We lost 1-0 against Newcastle. We lost 1-0 against you playing two cams. Emi Buendia and Coutinho just don't seem to be able to play together at the same time. However, I do think Arsenal just man-marked him completely out the game. So, you seem to have a man on him at all times. You didn't really let him get into his flow. And the thing with Coutinho is once he has the ball at his feet, if you let him run at you and if you let him create things, and he will create things because he's that sort of player. But if you don't give him the time and space and you don't allow him to get his head up, pick a pass and move it forward, then obviously he's going to be quieter. So, I've come on and I'm praising Arsenal a lot more than I thought I was, but I genuinely just think you handled him to the best degree possible.
James, there was talk of us possibly going for Coutinho. He probably would have played in the Ødegaard role for us. Do you think, who would you rather have, Ødegaard or Coutinho? Because at the time, I didn't want to touch Coutinho. I thought, big money player, he's going to come here, go full Ozil and do fuck all. But I've been really surprised at how influential he's been at Villa.
Yeah, no. For me, for however good Coutinho is, Ødegaard 100%. Just purely based on the age of the guy, you're going to get more. You're going to get more out of him. If you took Coutinho on, you're not really going to resell him ever again. With Ødegaard, that looks like that's a guy whose rate is going to go even higher. I mean, when you think about it, we bought Ødegaard for less money than what Villa actually paid for Buendia, even though we were in for Buendia. Aston Villa took Buendia sort of from Arsenal at the time. And Seb smashes it completely there in where he says about the space and the time. Coutinho is a master manipulator of space, as is Buendia. However, when they're both trying to do that in the same sort of area and everything else, that doesn't lead to that team clicking and doing what they need to do. I mean, I was quite worried, especially after that Liverpool defeat. I thought, oh God, they're going to be up. They're going to be up for this. And I was thinking it would be a narrow 2-1 or a 1-1 draw. So to get the win, I was very, very happy. I know you're not allowed to do that again. I don't want to jump the gun because you're probably going to touch on that earlier. You can't be happy if you win football games anymore. So I'll just leave it there.
How about you, Nick? What did you think about the possibility of Coutinho coming to Arsenal? Do you think he could have done a job rather than Ødegaard? Because he's definitely shown that he's doing such good stuff when he's allowed to at Villa, when he's played properly.
Probably not. I mean, that's all ifs and buts now, isn't it? But I always thought, we'd had a lot of injuries the last few years, even his last couple of years at Liverpool. And I think, like you said, he is probably a very, what you call a luxury player. If you've got people in the midfield to give him time and space on the ball, he is ruthless and he is a good player for that. But that's one of the reasons I think Klopp and then obviously Barcelona wanted rid of him, is because they can't afford to have that type of luxury in the midfield. They'd rather have people, especially at Liverpool, just run around like men possessed, run himself into the ground. And he's just not that type of player. And that's not his fault. And I think he's one of the last sort of dying breeds, like the say old fashioned, not that old, those number 10s, like him, Fabregas, Ozil and people like that, who, like I said, they play number 10 sort of behind the striker and have the whole team set up for them. And I don't think there's anyone else who plays with one of those anymore. I can't think of any teams that play with, one of those type of number 10s anymore. I mean, like I say, Ødegaard, he does sort of play number 10, but he comes into midfield, he runs around, he's more of an old-fashioned type of midfield rather than older-fashioned type of midfield.
Got this from H, a mate of mine, Corinthians fan, actually a Brazilian. He's come over to England. He's the least looking Brazilian person you've ever seen. He's as pale as I am, but he's been over. He's been going. I think he went to a couple of games. Are you back home in Brazil yet, H? Do let us know. He doesn't want Coutinho. Sky makes a point here, Seb. I nearly called you Josh then. It's taken me 8 years to get Josh's name right. We don't need mercenaries at Arsenal. We need players who want to be here and who wants to be part of the bigger project. Do you think Coutinho is going to stay next season? And if so, do you think Buendia might be allowed to go out? Because Buendia is a big signing. I think Arsenal were looking in for him, and you can't have two players. Like, we couldn't have another player alongside as good as Ødegaard, because you need to have one brilliant player in the middle. And for you, that's going to be Coutinho. Do you think he's going to stay?
Well, Buendia's our record signing, so to put him down as a big signing, he is our most expensive signing in our history so far. So to let him go after a year would be, massively disappointing. For him to be Championship Player of the Season, wanted by Arsenal. When we managed to get him ahead of you, it was like, right, this could be the start of something here. Players are looking into the project and believing in it and want to be here. Do I think we can keep Coutinho? Gerrard said it himself when Coutinho first came in, that it doesn't matter where he's playing, but Coutinho will only be Philip Coutinho if he's playing with a smile on his face and if he feels loved and wanted. And he didn't get that at Barca because he wasn't the key man. He was just another man in Barcelona's project at the time. Coutinho needs to be the main player in a team, and he loves to have the eyes on him and all the attention, and he loves to feel loved. But when you're playing under a Barcelona that has a Lionel Messi in the team, you're not going to get that same attention that you are after, that he would have got at Liverpool and would have got so used to. So to have him back and be the main man in a team, I think that works in our favour. I think it solely lies down to what other teams come in for him. I know we have a clause, but I don't know whether that stops any team from buying him or whether that is just the price that Barcelona want for him, regardless of who he goes to. And the final decision would of course be wages. I think he'd like to play under Gerrard. I hope he'd like to play under Gerrard. That connection that they have is quite special, and it looks special from a fan looking in. If he can reduce his wages, we don't want to be blowing our whole wage budget on him because, like I said, we have a project, we have something that we're working towards, and no player is going to be big enough to come in and completely move that project to a side. So we have to be conservative. We have to be realistic in terms of if he demands too many wages. I know he's already reduced it for our loan at the moment, but if he comes in wanting more in the summer, then we're going to have to look elsewhere. But I would be desperate to keep him, yeah.
But do you think that would be at the expense of Buendia, that you'd have to sell him on?
No, I don't, because I believe
they can't play together.
No, they can't yet. But I was saying,
greedy. This isn't FIFA. You can't have both.
I was saying that Danny Ings and Ollie Watkins couldn't play together 2 months ago, and suddenly Gerrard's come in and he's got them firing and he's got them playing in a system. So maybe he could do that in the summer with Buendia and Coutinho, and if he can't, then I think squad rotation is a massive factor. Squad depth, to be pushing on for where Villa want to be next season, squad depth is vital. So it would be nice to have both of them around. Whether Buendia would be happy with that, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I think he'll maybe move somewhere else because he's going to want a lot of money. He's greedy. He's probably on 400 grand a week at Barcelona. But there again, they might do what we have to do and constantly subsidise the wages of players that we no longer want, that a previous manager got in. And he was the shiny tool in the box. But didn't he go on loan to Bayern Munich and win back-to-back Bundesliga titles? Fucking hell, that boy's
won a Champions League scoring against Barcelona as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Did he?
Oh, yeah.
And it reminds me of James Rodriguez. That player, magnificent player, just end up going from club to club, and now he's kicking his heels over in somewhere in the Middle East, earning an absolute fortune, doing bugger all.
I think he's still on Everton's books. And did they sell him or did they loan him out?
They sold him. I think they only got £5 or £6 million for him.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, for a player that I think Real Madrid probably paid about 70 or 80 million because he had that magnificent World Cup in, was it 14 or 16?
It was one goal that he scored, wasn't it? I can't remember who it was against, but it was the outside of the box volley that did it, probably.
He was top goal scorer at the World Cup that time, I think he was.
Was he?
Stat padded it in the early rounds. He went full Eddie and Nketiah. How do you see, Seb, how do you see Arsenal's season going, looking at has your opinion of Arsenal's, how they're going to get on this season changed after you've seen us play? What do you think we were going to do? Because I know we talked about this on your show, and I said I think we're going to go places, but I said also I think Villa were going to do well, and I didn't realise how many points you were away from the top 7. But hopefully, if you're going to beat Wolves and beat Spurs, then you'll be right up there again. But yeah, compare how you thought Arsenal were going to do, and did you change your opinion once you saw us play?
I changed my opinion once you absolutely battered us at the Emirates last year in the first game of the season that we played. Probably our two worst games of the season have both come against Arsenal. So maybe what I was saying earlier about it being down to Arsenal nullifying our threats and not just Villa looking shit on the day, that might be a good reason. Yeah, look, at the start of the season, you got pummeled by Man City, didn't you? I think you lost your first 3 games and you were bottom of the season, bottom of the table.
That didn't happen.
Oh, really? Right, okay.
They don't count. They were COVID games.
I think a lot of people saw that and thought, this could be another tricky season for Arsenal. I think I mentioned
some fans said Arsenal fans were believing on Twitter we were going to go down. That's how deluded some of these fucking morons are. Carry on.
But look, I think in recent years you'd struggled, and I think a lot of people believed that it would be another season of that. I think there were lots of things in the summer after Buendia chose to come to us over you. There was lots of Arsenal losing their shine almost. But look, the way Arteta's turned it round and the way he's got you playing, you look so good on the ball, and there's an element of Pep there without bigging him up too much. You can clearly see a style and identity of Arsenal, a bit like Xavi at Barcelona. He's come in, he knows what he wants to do, and he has a clear vision. And if anyone doesn't buy into that, then see you later. And that's exactly what Arsenal needed as a manager. So, look, you're heading in the right direction.
That is nice to hear. Anyone got any questions for Seb? Silence. I did say I meant you two, not in the chat.
Or lose a bet?
Eh?
Why did you support Aston Villa? Did you lose a bet?
It's always interesting to know why people do support their teams. I support Arsenal because my mum bought me an Arsenal kit when I was 6. Luckily, it turned out all right.
I mean, it's not as an exciting story, but I used to live in Aston, so that's probably a big giveaway.
And do you get annoyed when people say Aston Villa are a Birmingham side, or is it just Wolves fans that get annoyed at that?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of Birmingham City fans that say we're not as big as them because we don't have the name of the city. But at least our ground hasn't got a hole in it.
I don't. We all hate Birmingham because of that 2010 League Cup final.
Good.
And Count
Park. That's nice. That's a lot like Highbury. It's got the same sort of old-fashioned club feel, even around it. It's all like hemmed in by houses and stuff like that.
We're getting our ground renovated soon, and I'm praying that it's not one where they fill in the corners. I do not want the corners filled in. I think having 4 separate stands is very unique, and it's quite rare nowadays. So as long as they don't fill in the corners, I don't mind.
Oh, here we go. We've got a question from Mark for you, Seb. Seb, what Villa players would get into the current Arsenal team?
Oh, great question.
No, don't big him up. Say average at best.
I look across the defence, and last season Martinez 100%, but the way Ramsdale's come in and he's made that position his own, I think that's a bit more of a debate. I think Martinez hasn't had the best year this year, so Ramsdale can keep that spot. Tierney, I'd say, is above Digne at this point, and then I know you lot don't rate Mings, so I wouldn't dare put him in the Arsenal team. Ezri Konsa, I think, have you got Ben White and is Gabriel your other starting centre-back?
Yeah.
Whether it was between Gabriel and Ezri Konsa, I don't know whether I'm being biased, but I'd probably go with Konsa for that one. I think Ben White is quite a big powerhouse of a centre-back. He likes to go and attack things, whereas Konsa would be able to play well with him as he drops back. He likes to cut stuff out. I think those two would work really well together. The new right-back, Tomiyasu, I think he's probably a step above Matty Cash at the moment. Into the midfield, again, I don't really see any of our midfielders getting in there. Whether you counted Coutinho as a midfielder, would he get in? Like you said, he'd be fighting for the position with Odegaard, and he's had a brilliant season for you lot. I don't think there's many players. You asked me that question last season, and I give a completely different answer. But
I can think of 3.
3?
Yeah, Douglas Luiz would walk into our side next to Thomas Partey. Especially if you're going to sell Xhaka, he'd walk into our side.
I do like him. He's an angry man, isn't he?
Ollie Watkins would walk into our team, and even now people are probably going to get flamed for it, and I don't really care anyway. But let's go. I think Danny Ings would walk into it because our striker can't score. You know, Danny Ings can
have a striker.
You know, Danny Ings can put the. If I was going to bring Danny Ings off the bench like you did instead of Nketiah, I'd be all for it because you know Danny Ings in the box might
You're
actually.
going to take Danny Ings over Eddie Nketiah, are you?
So yeah, I'd say one of those things. I mean, personally, I would even I quite like John McGinn. I think John McGinn fits that bastard role.
He's a proper bastard.
I love him. I really think he'd be someone that if he come into our squad, people would go, "Oh, why have we bought him?" And then within a couple of weeks, when he crunched someone, and if we had a North London derby and he crunched somebody, everyone would be like, "Oh, that's why we bought him." Love John McGinn.
Reminds me of the Mickey Flanagan sketch where he goes, "All women love a bastard. All football players, all football fans love a bastard as long as he's your bastard."
Yeah,
and we use that word quite a lot. Where we had another question for you here. Oh, here we go. This Phil is he's a cheeky monkey at times. Seb, he says, "Is Seb old enough to remember Dwight Yorke and Paul Merson playing at Villa?"
I wish I was. I've heard so much about it. But no, not the first season I got my season ticket was 2013-14. My first game was a 4-0 defeat to Tottenham. My second game was a 3-0 defeat to Wigan Athletic. And then I think, was it the season after that or 2 seasons after that, we got relegated. So I don't have the best of luck down at Villa Park.
Hey, you got relegated in there's actually I was thinking the double, as we all know, is the Premier League title and the FA Cup. The anti-double, or maybe the first person ever in the human history to bring this up, is losing an FA Cup final and getting relegated. And you've done that, and Middlesbrough did that. That's I can't think of many teams.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, but I've got that, and I was watching it back a while ago.
It's in the FA Cup final as well. Brilliant, hey? Great. You beat us in the FA Cup final as well, 4-0 that day.
Yeah, I know. It's wonderful. A young Jack Grealish played there.
Yeah.
I think he came on as a sub. Do you think he'll come back? Because he's not exactly he's pulling up trees. Fuck knows what that means. He's not doing well at Man City. He's not being utilised as he should be at Man City. Would you have him back?
I think any fan that says no would probably be lying to you. The way that he left in the summer wasn't ideal. The fact that a lot had been made behind the scenes of the project that Villa were going on and the direction that we wanted to go, and we wanted Jack to be the main part of that. He signed a contract, I think it was 8 months before that he left, where he stated that Aston Villa was his club, his home, his city, and that he believed in the project. He signed a new 5-year deal and that he wanted to be the main part of that. He wanted to be the driving force, and at the time it was dreamland. We had an Aston Villa fan as captain, an Aston Villa fan as manager. In the Championship, we had an Aston Villa fan making our kits, and it was like, this is what it feels, because they are living every fan's dream at the moment. And then when Jack Grealish left, it was like, that dream has almost become, we wish that it would become reality and that Jack would be able to take us from the Championship, from almost being liquidised in the Championship to taking us up that same season in the Championship to then keeping us up the year after that. We thought the next step from that would be Europe. So for him to then leave after claiming that he wanted to be such a main part of this project hurt. But of course I'd have him back. If we could get him back to the form that he was in at Villa, then he's one of the most exciting players in Europe on his day.
Did that upset you, Seb, when he left? Did you get a sort of, not so emotional and cry, but did you because I remember, years ago when players used to leave, and I used to get when I see Henry, he's left for Barcelona, and Van Persie made me vomit when he signed for United. But now I think I'm probably the same as Danny and James. We're a lot older. I say a lot older, fair bit older. And now when we signed a player, when we signed Aubameyang, I was like, we've signed him. I'm like, brilliant. You're going to turn on us, aren't you, mate? This was in 5 minutes. I know they're just going to turn. So now it's like players come and go, and I don't think there is anything as like, a lifelong club player and they're going to stay for their whole career. I think if you get them for more than 3 or 4 years, you're doing well.
Do you notice there, Seb, that none of us were smiling or laughing at you talking about your best player going, I was having heart palpitations. I was feeling quite sick because that's happened to us over and over and over again. And we just hope that this time our beautiful young men stay forever. But we don't want to talk about that, do we, James?
No, that longevity player died for me the day I saw Raul leave Real Madrid for Schalke. I was just like, what? I know Jose, when he goes into somewhere, I've got to make myself, he always, a bit like Pep done it, didn't he? When he went into Barcelona, got rid of Ibrahimovic straight. I've got to get rid of someone who's deemed bigger than me just to prove that I'm the man in it. And yeah, just seeing Raul not in a Real Madrid kit, I was like, this is insane. Like, this is absolutely...
And the goalkeeper. Who was that? The one he went to Porto?
Yeah, he went, yeah. I just couldn't believe it. Just couldn't believe it at the time. So, no, I'm 100% with what you said, Nick. There won't be these one club men. Very rare. I'm not going to say Mark Noble's probably the last of all of them, because there will be some, but I'm talking about like a proper that everyone really, bigged up, and he's actually pulled his club through and stuff like that. I think Grealish, probably did a thing with him where he was like, look, I've kept you up. Come on, look, I can't keep turning this money down. I've done you what you needed me to do per se. And it's like, can I go and have a punt here and everything else? And I mean, looking at it, City have spent the wrong money. They should have spent the money that they spent on Grealish on the Kane or the Haaland, because it's not gone right for them. They'll probably still win 1 or 2 trophies before the end of the year, but you know what I mean.
Have you heard of an Aston Villa player called Charlie Aitken? He's the record appearance holder with 657 games. I bought my first Mercedes off of him. And he even wrote me a little note to say, this is my car, and I only ever used it on match days to go watch the Villa. Oh, pardon me, and then I scrapped it. It got a big fucking hole behind the headlights, so I scrapped it. Got more money for it in break. I've still got some of the... I got rid of that in 2006. I've still got some of the parts in the shed. They're slowly worth more money. Do you want to stay with us a little bit longer? Some more questions, Seb?
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Bob Lex, this will be a sensible question. Do you think Matty Cash will be at Aston Villa next season, as he's been linked with Atletico Madrid?
I'd like to think so, but he was under quite a lot of criticism early on in the season, because I think he'd gone something like a year without producing a goal or an assist for Villa, and then everyone starts criticising him, and he scored something like 3 goals and 2 assists since converting to Polish, that famous Matty Cash Polish name. Since converting to Polish, he seems to be a completely different player.
I don't know what you mean by converts to Polish.
He represents the Polish national team now.
With a name like Matthew Cash?
Exactly.
Fuck off. How does that work out?
You got the guy at Blackburn that's just added Diaz at the end of his name. Just to play for Chile.
Well, the Diaz one, that's because that's his mum's maiden name. And he found out on Champion Football Manager that he could play for Chile. And he went, fuck me, I can play for Chile. And so now he does. He plays for Sanchez. How do you finish answering your question, Seb? Because I talked all over you.
If the right money comes in, then I wouldn't mind seeing him go. There was 40-50 million being banded around, and if that comes in, then I'm not going to turn it down. We signed him for 15 2 years ago, so to make that kind of money back off a player, I wouldn't be too disheartened if he left for that sort of money.
I honestly never knew that he played. I know there's some odd ones for players playing for countries you never would have thought of, but there's probably a grandparent or something like that. Mr. Boblik says you can buy Grealish back for 20 million. Then you wouldn't have to have Coutinho, would you? No, I don't need that.
Could you imagine Coutinho and Grealish in the same team, though? How would that work?
Would remind me of the Spurs team under Osei Ardiles, where he had one defender and everyone else was attacking.
Buendia, Coutinho, Grealish, Ings, Watkins.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's any more. Here we go from Phil. Sensible question. He's only one of the night. Have Villa wasted the Grealish money the same way the Spurs wasted the Bale money?
No, I wouldn't say we have. I think we bought 3 players: Bailey, Buendia, and Ings. I'm a massive Ings fan personally. I think he's a complete level above Watkins. If one of them was to go in the summer, I'd rather that be Watkins and keep Ings on at the club. I really like how he operates. I think that he is a proven Premier League goal scorer, and to have that in your team is quite rare. Yeah, I'm a massive Ings fan, and when he's come on and we've played to his strengths, he's typically scored for us. But the problem is, at the moment, is his lack of service. So I'm a really big Ings fan. Buendia, again, before Coutinho came in, was probably our best player this season. You know, his creative link-up play, the way he runs with the ball, he creates stuff. He was just adapting to the team, and he had 3 or 4 games where it was like, yeah, this is a Buendia that we bought in the summer. Then Coutinho came in, and that's sort of gone backwards, and we need to find a way to integrate him back into this team. And Bailey's a really weird one. I think he came on for his debut against Chelsea. He looked really exciting. And then the first home game I remember him playing, he came off the bench. His first touch was a corner in which he scored from. I think it went down as a your own goal, which is quite funny because he's playing for us now. He came on, he scored from the corner. Then 5 minutes later, Ings produced a brilliant crossfield ball. He ran down the line. He blasted it into the back of the net. And we were like, wow, Bailey is our Grealish replacement. Like, here we go. This is it. What an exciting player. And it turned out that he blasted the ball so hard into the back of the net that he did his hamstring in due course, came off, and we didn't see him for the next 6 to 8 weeks. And ever since then, he's been slowly getting his way back up to speed and getting some minutes here or there on the pitch. But again, Bailey's another one. If Coutinho's on the pitch and if Buendia's on the pitch, then where do you fit Bailey in? They can't all play the same because Gerrard's playing a system without wingers at the moment, and Bailey is known for his pace down the wings. So there's been some talk of trying him up front. There's been some talk of trying him in the number 10, but you're not going to sacrifice Coutinho again. So I wouldn't say we've wasted it, but it's certainly taken a long time for these players to get up to speed and how we want to play. We were never going to replace Grealish. The impact he had on our club was monumental, and there was never ever going to be any player that came in and hit the ground running and he won over the fans as quickly as Grealish did. So for the money we spent and for the players we brought in, I'm hopeful for the future that it can still turn out right.
All right, one final question from you from how do you say that? Skiggy Spray? Oh, I have no idea. Been following our Twitch channel since 2018, Nick. Isn't that wonderful?
As long as me.
Jesus. Final question: is your favourite ex-player, Aston Villa player, Bobby Perez? Do you remember him playing?
I don't, but I've heard a lot about him, and I've talked obviously to people and Villa fans about his time at the club, and a lot of people were saying that he almost came at the wrong time, that he was past it at the time. I think I remember him mentioning. I don't think Perez got long at Villa, and I think it was one of those where everyone was living off what he'd done at Arsenal and, you know, how great he could be. But I seem to remember, you know, I could be completely wrong here, and Villa fans will correct me on that if there's any listening, but I seem to remember he never really lived up to the heights that were billed of him at Villa.
I think he was like 35, 36 at the time.
Yeah.
Gerard Houllier signed him like to a year, and I think Gerard Houllier, I think he either got sacked or got ill and left pretty quickly.
Yeah, he got ill.
And then the new guy who came in just didn't fancy him, so he hardly played him.
Well, it's a bit like when he came to Villa, really. You know, we had the same with John Terry, and everyone's thinking we've signed the best English defender to ever live, or one of, and, you know, we were in the Championship at that time, and I think his debut we lost 3-0. I think it was it to Wigan, or did we lose to Rotherham? It was one of the two, and it was like, that's brought us back down to earth quite quickly. And then he did his metatarsal 3 weeks later and was out for 6 weeks. So
couldn't happen to a nicer C word. I used the C word on the Sunday roast about 5 times on Sunday. I used it so much, Nick, that our YouTube channel got that show got limited ads. It got yellow marked, so it made about 8p.
Is John Terry still at Villa on the coaching staff? Is he still there when Gerard?
He left in the summer. In the summer. He's at Chelsea now.
Oh, good. Best place for
Good.
him. Out the way.
He's too busy doing shitty NFTs, flogging
Yeah,
them all
exactly.
and then taking all the money. Fucking arsehole. Right, either of you two got any questions for Seb before we let him go?
I'm really sorry, I've got nothing.
Yeah.
So what are you hoping to get out of supporting Aston Villa for the rest of your life?
Fucking hell, Nick.
No, just if he's got to have expectations, what would he like? You know, is he hoping for
They
a
could have
cup
asked
run?
us
Is he
that about
Jesus.
3 or 4 years ago, and they'd have had a good point. We were shit. 8th 2 seasons in a row. Fuck me.
I've never seen us win a domestic trophy. But I think, I don't want to sound arrogant here, but I think Aston Villa is too big of a club to be going, if we could win a FA Cup or, you know, League Cup before I die, then I'd die happy. Maybe I was going to say a European trophy. Obviously, we probably won't win the Champions League. Europa League?
Public says that his cousin, Neil Taylor, played for Villa.
What a player. What a player. At Middlesbrough now. Great left back. Was never really rated by Villa. Villa never seemed to rate their left backs. Ever. But I love Neil Taylor. What a man.
Who is your favourite all-time Villa player? That's your last question on the Dwight York Wonderland podcast. Why have I picked that? He's the biggest prick you've ever had playing for you. I'm changing it to Tony Daly. Tony Daly.
Do you remember how Sir Alex Ferguson sold him to Villa in that video, like when they were playing at it was before the game, and he was walking past, they were playing Villa, and Ferguson just grabbed him. He's go on, take him, and he tried to shove him into the Villa dressing room, and then he signed for him like a week later.
Yeah, I'd say Benteke, favourite player.
Fat Benteke.
He was so good for us. Honestly.
We've been doing ABW since the summer of 2013. And for about 2 years, that's all we went on about. We've got to get Benteke. We've got to sign him. He's a hell of a fucking player. Went to Liverpool, shit the bed, went to Crystal Palace, and he's the only player at Crystal Palace that scores against us. We actually had a joke that we do a preview show a couple of years ago, and we were joking that, he hasn't scored all season or something. He scored 1 in 30. He's probably going to score against us, and he did it in back-to-back fucking games against
I don't suppose you remember, do you? I think it was 2013 or 2014, opening day of the season. Villa had that awful white and claret checkered away shirt.
3-1?
Yeah.
3-1 at the Emirates.
Scored a double.
What a
I remember that.
Your debut on this podcast. So thank you very much for being on it. James and Nick, how long do you reckon it'll be before Seb gets his own show on Radio 5? And do you think he'll ever remember being on here with us swearing at him and asking why he supports Villa? At 17 years old, isn't he magnificent?
Yeah,
Stop you boosting my ego, man.
He's a nice young lad. He's a good talker. He'll be going places soon.
Shame's not an Arsenal fan. We'd have you come and join the podcast. You could be right. I could go off into retirement. Anyway,
considering other rival fans all week that we've had going on about us, I'm not that Villa are really a rival anyway, but like fans that support other clubs. No, you've been exemplary, so thank you.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll tell him that he's liked by Villa. I'll tell him. Oh, yeah, he's
Neil Taylor.
Yes. And if you want a Middlesbrough signed shirt, he'll sort one out for you, apparently. I've got no idea. Tell people where they can find you on Twitter and a little bit about your podcast.
Twitter, if you can follow the podcast, like you mentioned, at 7500 75002 Holt, HOLTE. And I'm Sebastian Bacon 8 on Twitter. I mainly talk about Villa, so I wouldn't bother if I were you, unless you just want to get your follower count up. Nothing exciting over there. But if when Arsenal play Villa next season, come over, listen to the podcast, and let us know what you think.
I'll try and get you on the away game at Arsenal. We'll try and get you on the post-game show, which usually goes live 10 minutes after the game. But I know you won't be able to do the Villa Arsenal one because you'll be out of the game. So,
sounds good.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for inviting me on your podcast. I had fun.
Worries.
It was a good 3/4 minute. Did they cut it down much?
No, they didn't. There was no need to.
And I didn't swear once. Unfucking believable. Right, Seb, you've been brilliant. Thank you very much. Good luck with the rest of the season, and especially good luck against Spurs in 2 weeks' time.
Cheers. We'll need it.
And Wolves.
What?
Beat Wolves as well. Fuck Wolves.
Do you reckon you can beat both of those teams? That's the final question for you.
No. If we play our 2 strikers in Ings and Watkins, then maybe, but not if we play our 2 number 10s. How about that?
That's not quite good enough. If you are there, the games are you are away. Oh, you're at home to Spurs. If you could call Harry Kane a cunt for us as often as possible and not get thrown out.
Tie myself to the post. How about that?
If you video yourself being horrible to the Spurs players, I'll retweet it from the podcast account. People will love you forever. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again next time we play you.
Yes, thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much. Just click the red button because I don't ever. He's done it already. Didn't fuck about, did he? He couldn't get out of here soon enough.
Right, now he's gone. Let's talk about what we really think of Villa.
I like Villa a lot. I've always had, like you were saying, Nick, their ground is like Highbury. I've always seen us, and they've got a glorious history. They won the European Cup before it became the Champions League. They've won the league. They've won the titles. They've won League Cup. They've won everything, and they're like Sheffield Wednesday and Newcastle, and what other ones would there be? Teams up that are up northish that are huge, but they just need the right people to come in and have the right owners and the right guidance and the right manager, and then they're going to be huge. And I reckon next season, Villa, if they keep Coutinho and Buendia and get a couple of other signings and keep those 2 up top, I think they could push for a Europa League or Europa Conference League position.
Teams like Villa and that sort of level side, a good solid foundation and defence and things like that. If they actually got into Europa League, they could actually do really well. Even teams like Fulham, they got to the final, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Teams like that, because they're sort of dark horses and underdogs, and not many people know just how good they are, especially in Europe. And they think of them as pushovers because they think, they finished 10th in the league, in the Premiership. And I was like, well, most teams that finish 10th in the Premiership finish first in the league, in France and top 2 or 3 in La Liga.
Bob Lex said he listened to their podcast. Let me know if you liked. Was it the one I was on, Bob Lex? And what did you think of it, James?
Yeah, no, I was going to say they're 12 points off top 7, so they're probably not going to make that up. If I'm being brutally honest, but if they've got Gerrard in now, they're probably going to sell 1 or 2 of their players. Watkins is being linked with Arsenal nearly ever, but I think every striker in the world is at the moment because, like you said,
have you gone off Watkins a little bit? I don't rate him as much as I did.
I think I personally don't see him as the answer, but I think we need to buy 2 strikers, and maybe he could be the one that's on the bench because Mikel Arteta loves those versatile, type of dual role players, and he can play either down the middle or on the right or on the left. So he'll go, I'm not just buying him as a striker. I've got him potentially there as a winger as well. So I could see that he might be one that happens just for that. But yeah, if they reinvest the money that they've got there, I mean, they could make those 12 points up. And if they do, if they've got even Europa League, Coutinho definitely must have some kind of clause there that he's like, look, if I get you into some kind of European football, you pay me and everything else. If he's the guy to do it, they end up falling in love with him even more than they have now. If they can keep him in there, sort of strengthen it and tidy it up like Nick's been saying, I wouldn't put it past them to have a run in the Europa a bit like West Ham they have now. Because West Ham, the thing that's, they haven't really got the squad depth, but the squad that they've got, they're really organised. So if Gerrard could get them organised like West Ham are now, they'll shock people and they'll probably go quite far in it, to be fair.
I didn't realise that he's 25. He was 25 last December, so he's getting on a little bit. And he played in League 2 for 4 seasons with Exeter. And then Brentford in the Championship, and he had that magnificent season, 25 in 46. Last season, 14 in 37 in the Premier League for Villa. And this season, 7 in 26. But I think he had a couple of injuries. But 1 goal in 5 games for England, scored against San Marino. Again, dickhead scored 5 against San Marino, didn't he? But I think he's definitely a decent player, and he's an Arsenal fan as well, isn't he?
Yes, he is, yeah.
Yeah. I had one of the notes I was going to make, was about the celebrations. What's this one say? Oh, look, Thunder Road's been nice to you. He's never nice to anybody. He obviously likes.
I'll take it.
Yeah, take it, because I gotta have that framed. Nick, what do you think about the celebrations things? Because I was going to bring that up with Seb, but I forgot, and then someone mentioned it in the chat. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, how about celebrating winning a game of football? That's shocking. I mean, that's just because we had that a few weeks ago with the Wolves player and stuff. That is just such sour grapes and just crap from these sort of people coming out and saying stuff like that. It's just, I don't know what they're on about. I mean, they all sort of gave Leno a bit of a hug and a kiss as well at full time because, I mean, they all like Leno, and he reminds me a bit of Lukic when he was and then he got replaced with Seam, and no one really wanted him replaced because we didn't think he was a bad goalkeeper. That's why when Ramsdale come in, we were all a bit shocked for us to spend that much money on a goalkeeper that we thought was going to be, backup. But yeah, I mean, I can't see what the problem is. I mean, I see every game, Liverpool win. Jurgen Klopp comes onto the pitch and he's given it all that with all the supporters and they're all going mad. And I remember them celebrating that 2-2 draw with West Brom, like they'd won the World Cup, and they were all like holding hands and celebrating. But I don't know. What is over celebrating? I don't know. I mean, I saw Arteta, he just hugged one of his pit crew, shook Gerrard's hand and went down the tunnel. I don't know what's over celebrating with that. I think it's just sour grapes and they're just trying to turn it around. And then, anything that come out of Ashley Young's mouth just smells like bird poo.
He was another Arsenal fan as a kid, wasn't he?
Right,
remember when he made his first run at Villa? We were in for him before he went to Man United.
I was going to say, it didn't seem like an Arsenal fan at the weekend.
No, what's your thought about the celebration, James? Would you just fucking laugh at it and think it's ridiculous?
It's absolutely stupid. I mean, Nick, again, from where you're going from, LFC, the old lateral flow champions. When they won,
I like that.
when they won the league, none of their fans were allowed to be in there, but we all saw, all the bottles that were left outside and the carnage from when they celebrated outside because they weren't allowed in. Now, if they win the Premier League this year, I want this same energy. No, you can't celebrate that. You're not allowed. You can't go mad when you win the league for the, when you actually get to see your team win the league in 32 years or whatever. No, I don't want to see no Liverpool fans celebrating, cheering. No, you'll never walk alone over the tannoy more than you sing it because it's pumped in. And I just think it's a joke. I think it's an absolute joke. Again, like I go to say, it's the old fun police. If you're having fun and you're not hurting anybody, crack on. That's how I see just life in general. All the time, people. Oh, look at these lot over there doing this. Oh, look at them doing it. Are they hurting you? No, fuck off then. Leave them alone.
James swear. He doesn't swear that often, but it is a sign that we're doing something. Bob Lex double. Are you double dipping tonight, Nick?
Yeah, I'm looking on Twitch and doing the YouTube chat. I see my mate for Seals in. He's one of my viewers from there. He sports RB Leipzig.
Is he German?
No.
Fair enough.
Just like energy drinks.
I'm German.
Well,
I'd have a word with my if my nan was still alive, I'd have a word with her and go, German? Good. That's why I like German cars. That's what the GFP stands for, German flower pot, not me, the car. I think on the situation of everyone having a moan, it makes a big difference. And laughing at us, they're now trying to find reasons to pick at us because they must look. I mean, Nick, like Seb was saying, he made a good point about Grealish being the star of their team. We have got Ødegaard, Saka, Martinelli, Smith-Rowe. Most Premier League teams are lucky if they have one of those. And so we've got four of them, and regularly all four are playing at the same time and really well. Well, do they play at the same time? Actually, no, they don't. Three of them. Any 3 out of 4 will play at the same time. I don't think we're ever going to see 4 playing at the same time unless we start to play Martinelli out front. But the other teams must look at that and go, you bastards, you've got all of those wonderful young players, and how can we ever go to them? Oh, let's have a shout and a moan once they start celebrating because they have got... we have got the most exciting young team of players in the Premier League, haven't we, Nick? I mean, you'd say that whether we do or don't, but They're jealous, aren't they? They're just well gel.
I think everyone's been jealous of Arsenal throughout all the years, because basically we've just pissed off so many clubs over the years, haven't we? I know it's always all go on about your history, but we've had rivalries and upset pretty much all the clubs in the Premiership. We've upset Liverpool, United, Chelsea, all these clubs over the years we've had something with, because we've always been sort of around the top half of the Premiership for most of the time, and people remember stuff. They still talk about stuff that happened. Still talk about Man United, Arsenal every time that game is on, and really that sort of peak rivalry ended nearly 20 years ago, and they still talk about it today. Because they've been talking about Vieira getting inducted into whatever the Premiership Hall of Fame thing is. I don't know what that was. I don't really sure what that is. And they were showing him having his rivalry with Roy Keane and stuff like that. And this was 2000, 2001, and they're still talking about it today. And I just think, people have long memories and stuff like that. And for some clubs, that kick off, with one or two players, they remember it, don't they?
Yes, it's like Mr. Waffle says, bring on all comers. It's us against the world. That's when Arsenal are at their best, when we're either down to 9 men or everyone's having a moan at us.
The tears hydrate us all. That's all they're doing.
Salty tears. Right. So I was going to. There was this thing that Saka scored. Did either of you two see my tweet about the first 10 goals Arsenal have scored in the Premier League?
No.
Good. Don't go and look. Right, Saka got the 2000th. I can't say it. Hold on. 2000th. And I still can't say it, and I cover the gap up. Kieran Tierney got 1900. Alba got the 1800. Danny Welbeck 1700. 100 was Ian Wright. 200th was Keown. 300th Stephen Hughes. Have a guess who scored the first one? Our first ever Premier League goal.
Steve Bold, wasn't it?
All right, you ruined that. Yeah. How about our second one?
Can I guess? Can I still guess? I won't guess Ian Wright.
No.
Oh.
Second one, same game. You've podcasted with him, James.
Oh, is it Super Kev?
Super Kev. And they were both in our first Premier League game. We lost 4-2 at home to Norwich.
Oh,
bastards. Dear. How about the third one, Nick? Any idea?
Just keep saying Ian Wright.
Swedish.
No, I can't remember his name now. Oh, that's gone.
I had a chat with him during a testimonial. He's been on the podcast once. Left winger, James.
Limpar, isn't it?
Yes.
I could see his face. I just couldn't think of it. I couldn't say his name.
This next one is just for Nick. Fourth one.
Ian Wright.
Yes. Fifth one. The fifth one. English left back.
Dixon. Oh no, Winterburn. Sorry.
Yeah, right. Winterburn. Right.
Getting them wrong-sided.
This next
one
is just
dyspraxia kicking in.
Yeah, I have a touch of that, I think.
Yeah. Battlestar dyspraxia. Yeah, love
it. Number 6, just for Nick.
Ian Wright.
Excellent. Number 7. He had lovely long ginger hair.
John Hartson.
No.
Did he have
England? English. Right midfielder, moved into central midfield.
TalkSport.
Ray Parlour. Next one, we talked about him, went off to play for Villa.
Oh, Merson.
Hey, that's it. And the final 2, number 9, Nick.
Ian Wright again.
Number 10, Nick.
Ian Wright.
You got more. I think you got more right there than James did. So
I got more right. Do you get it?
Hey, I know, that's what I was saying. Right, so we're going to have a look at. Should we have a moment for a Bert Leno, James? A Bert Leno appreciation moment. He hasn't played a proper game since I think December, and the game before that was October. To come in and do that was a half decent game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't sit here and totally praise the guy, because people will go back to what I've said in the past. They can easily pull it up. So I'd just be a massive hypocritical bastard is the word we've used all day. So, but no, do you know what? He come in there and he done his job. And one thing I will say about him is he's not moaned, he's not complained. You can tell in the summer he wants to be a first choice goalkeeper somewhere else. I think when we signed the American guy in January, that sort of indicated to me he's definitely going. But what I like is a bit like Lacazette has. He's like, I'm probably not going to be here in the summer, but until then, I'm going to give you everything that I have and do my job. And people like that, how can you really moan and complain about them? In my opinion, you sort of can't if they're willing to do that. We've had people here before that have whinged and moaned and, won't go north of the Watford Gap and sit on Twitch playing Fortnite all the time. So to actually have people that are committed and want to play the games, you can't moan at them. And he did pull off, someone put there, he did pull off some nice saves. Yeah, I agree. I mean, if we want to get to the technicalities of it, the distribution level's nowhere near.
There's no kicking distribution, was there?
Anyone with eyes can see that, but he done his job. He did indeed. Nick, any thoughts on Leno?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about him earlier, comparing him to John Lukic, but whereas no one were desperate for him to be replaced, and I just think because we had Wenger for so long, and they were all his players, and we were just used to players being there for years and years, even though some of the players we didn't want to be here for years and years stayed. And that's just what happens if you're going to get rid of managers. They want their own players in, they want their own type and style of players. And, with a goalkeeper, you haven't really got much chance, have you? You're number one. I mean, I don't think anyone rotates goalkeepers on a regular basis like they would, other players. I know they sometimes play like a cup goalkeeper, but we weren't in the cups for very long, were we? So there wasn't many games for him to play. But he'll go off in the summer, and we've got the American coming in who we've sort of pre-signed. Did we sign a loan out? Two Americans.
There's two. Yeah, one centre back, one's goalkeeper. Signed them both, and then loaned. I think we signed the centre back and loaned him back until our summer because their season has already started, and then the goalkeeper we're buying in the summer, or the other way around.
Yeah,
one or the other.
Yeah, we just got to hope that Ramsdale doesn't get injured on the first game of the season and out for the season, don't we?
You shush your nonsense. Right, you mentioned something there, Nick, in cup games. Look at this. This is a little thing I've been working on. What do you think of that? This for the boys and girls at home. This is the top 7 teams. The first figure is how many games they are going to play this. If they get knocked out of the cups, where they are at the moment, because we've still got Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea and West Ham are all still in the cup. So if they only play their 2 European Cup games, then it means this season, the most number of games played by the top 7 is Chelsea will have played 60 games this season, and then it's going to be 60. What comes after 60? It's going to be Man City on 54, Liverpool and Spurs on 53, and West Ham on 54. Man United on 49, but Arsenal, James, if we've played 35 games, we've got another 10 to play because we've only got 10 league games, or 45 games this season, where teams above us, Chelsea, would have played 60 games. That, I think, is an extra 33% games. I could be wrong. I don't know. I can't count. But looking at that, can you make any kind of sense? What does that make you feel about Arteta having a smaller squad? Do you think he planned this? Is he that good at it?
I don't think he planned to get knocked out of the cup against Nottingham Forest. If he did, so I think a few of the Arsenal YouTubers would have a field day with that, specific ones. But no, I think it shows you that it's justifiable in the sense that he's kept a small, group of players, and when we had that break in January. And we went to Dubai. I don't know what happened, but it seemed to have galvanized them and made them closer together. And I think we're seeing the results of that. But one thing I will say to caveat it is that now that we're going to potentially be in the top 4 and we're going to be playing these 50 plus games and everything else like that, I think he's going to have to rely even more on the squad because we're going to simply just have more games. And that's when you go into, the dreaming of the additions and everything else like that. And some of these fringer players that we've not seen, I think Lokonga's a good player, but I can't remember the last time we saw him. I think it was Forest as well. I can't remember the last time Lokonga come on. So it's a case of managing that squad better, because we're clearly, it's obvious, isn't it? We're going to have more games to play, and I'm shocked. I couldn't believe Saka's the most with 33. I thought it was White or Gabriel, but see, it's Saka. That really brings in home how important he really. I know all the time you're like, oh, rest him, but you can't, can you? You just can't. He's too good.
I think White has started the most number of games on 31, and Saka has started 30 and come on as sub 33. But Harry Kane, 41 games this season, and he normally he'd have had 41 goals for that. I think he's got 22 all competitions. That's encouraging, isn't it?
Yeah. He's had a shocking season this year for his level. I mean, that was just because he wanted to go. I think he got pissed off that they didn't sell him, and then he he had a bit of a strop, and now he's slowly coming round until they eventually sell him in the summer. And again, like one of the questions earlier, it's going to be so funny to see how they spend the Kane money, because the Bale money was, I always said what was worse, how Liverpool spent the Suarez money or how Spurs spent the Bale money. And I'm not just saying it because, they're the rival and everything else like that, but I think it was the Bale money was absolutely terrible.
Well, it helped us get Ozil, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, but I'm like Soldado and all that other,
Lamela, he was the last one to leave.
Yeah.
And there was the Brazilian midfielder they bought for a fortune and then let go for cheap. Nick, looking at that.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Paulinho.
Oh, Paulinho, yes.
Yeah.
Didn't
he end up at Barca?
Yeah, he went to China and scored a load of goals and then went to Barcelona. I don't know where he is now. Don't care. Nick, looking at that, are you surprised that once the season is over, we'll have only played 45 games? That has got to be, that's the next thing I'm going to do. Because I don't have a life, ladies and gentlemen. I do absolutely nothing. I either sleep or make lists of shit. And don't even do the washing up at the moment. I need to go and do that. But looking at that, Nick, 45 games, that's got to be one of the lowest ever. And then that's with a jammy League Cup run. If we'd have had our usual League Cup run, we could have only been, we could be on 40 games. So we played in the second round, didn't we? So we're always going to win the second round game. Are you surprised at that, Nick? 45 compared to Chelsea, the team we're trying to catch, are in 60. But I didn't know, Nick, that the top four go straight into the group stage of the Champions League. No pre-qualifying for fourth place. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's been like that for a while. And I think Chelsea have got I think Chelsea have got a few extra because they played that World Club Cup Championship thingy, and then they played another game where they played the winners of the Europa League as well. So
that's under if you look under Super, one game and none. Oh, that's what all these numbers mean. It's, you see the first number, like Arsenal 28, that's how many league games we played, 10 left. So that's why it's 1-0 for the FA Cup. But then you look at all the Euro, they've all played 6 and they've got 2 more games to play. Doesn't mean they won 1-0 or they won 6-2. That's just games played, games. All right, don't get Larry.
I can
help you out. Only Cole calls me Daniel. Not having that. He'll get jealous.
I've got to keep an eye on you.
Did he?
Yep.
Make sure I don't waffle. Yeah. So surprising, 45 games. Do you think we can catch Chelsea? Looking at the fact that they have got, we've only got 10 games to go. Chelsea have got 13, as we can see from my wonderful diagram there. Think we can catch Chelsea?
On form, I would have said yes, but they've fluked a couple of games 1-0 the last month or so. I mean, they probably weren't worth, they scored, what was it, 89th minute winner against Newcastle, I think a few weeks
sickening.
There was one before, I think they scored in the 89th minute as well, and they just won that 1-0 where they probably were worth a draw, if not lost. But, like I said, if they're going to keep fluking at 1-0, then probably not. I mean, what do I know? I said we were probably going to finish 5th, but that seems to be all fallen into place for a top 4 finish, and then that'll make for an interesting summer to see. Looks like we're going to have to buy strikers because we don't have any in contract. They're going to be in contract in the summer.
Apparently, Paulinho is at Corinthians because me and H there is we're both Corinthians. That's how we found each other on the Twitter. I said I'm a Corinthians fan. I have been since we signed. I always get it confused which one we signed first. I think it was Silvinho and then Edu, but we didn't sign Gilberto from there.
Silvinho was first, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Gilberto was from Gremio. Not sure. Anyway, that's my lovely list of things here. So the gist is we've only got 10 games to go. Chelsea only 13 games to go, but Chelsea will get past. Who have they got in the Champions League?
No, they beat Lille, didn't they?
Yeah, I've got no idea who Chelsea have got in the
Have
Champions
they got
League.
Atletico Madrid? No, Man City. Man City have got Atletico. Yeah.
I'm going to pretend that I knew all along. Somebody talk about the weather while I scroll down. They're playing Real Madrid. Ooh, first leg at home.
I thought it was one of the Madrids. I'm like,
that's going to be, no matter what, that's going to be a tough game. See, Real Madrid got spanked at home 4-0 by Barcelona. Aubameyang's back, baby.
Yeah, done a Dragon Ball Z celebration. They must have been like, "What is this guy doing at the of all the things we've seen in the Bernabeu?" They're like, "What is this?"
When I saw him do that, get the ball thing out, I thought he used to do that with us. That when he stops acting like a man-child, you give him 6 months and he's going to have to be gone. But it's such a poor league, though, isn't it? The amount of goals that he's scoring, he's enjoying his football. He actually got an assist for someone in that game. I thought, fuck off. Cheeky twat. There's no love for me. Good luck to him. Let him get on with it. But just annoying that someone of that much talent couldn't be bothered. There we go. Like Phil says, no bang bang or Ozil talk. Right, we'll fucking move on from there. H says Gilberto Silva was Atletico Mineiro before Arsenal. That's it. Jolly good. Right, so we've got a few questions to ask. We've been going an hour and 20 minutes. We're going to go for another 10 minutes. We had a question on Twitter from Matt Roberts. Question: what can the women's Arsenal team do to make you watch them play more often? James, you seem like the kind of bloke who might have dabbled in a bit of ladies' football.
Yeah. I wish I could say. I guess just show more of the games and.
It's on YouTube now. Tonight's game, we're 1-0 down apparently.
Oh well, yeah. Well, winning. If we're, I am fair weather like that. I'm not going to cheer if we're losing. But yeah, no, I don't mind a bit of women's football. I frequent Dagenham and Redbridge, and they've got West Ham ladies playing at their ground now. They've done like Boreham would have with Arsenal, so they're putting getting some money into Dagenham and Redbridge, which is always nice. So yeah, I can't whinge and moan at that. And you get free West Ham women's tickets if you're a Dagenham Redbridge season ticket holder. So when they play Arsenal in a couple of weeks, I'll probably go.
Vasil says here, no, the league's not the problem. It's just the quality around him. Oh, no, that's Barcelona. I had to read it 3 times. Yeah, true. Jimmy, celebrate taking... Oh, fuck off, Jim. Somebody tell Jimmy to fuck off. Don't be silly, Jimmy. Telling the listener to fuck off. Who do I think I am? Jason? Oh, never mind. Great days. 1,000 people watching just to make a couple of £100 a month from donation. Don't give us your money. Don't want it. But yes, give it to Nick. Nick doesn't need it either. Right. Nick, what could they do? Here we go. Phil's been a tit. I'd rather watch egg chasing than women's football. That's how much I can't be asked. Nick, Jimmy Stout wants to fight me. Oh dear. Do anything make you watch the women's football, Nick, or do you? What's the reasons?
Not really. I mean, that's on weird times as well. And I mean, obviously, they're not going to have competing with the men's game. It's usually like Sunday nights or Saturday nights, like 8 p.m. or something like that. And by that time, I may have watched 2 or 3 games and maybe done the podcast after the show, and I'm sort of footballed out by then. That's just I don't know. I mean, we always used to watch because the Arsenal women always used to get into the cup final pretty much every year, and that used to be on BBC, and that was pretty much the only women's game that was ever shown on TV. So I used to watch that because it was Arsenal women, but I don't know really what they can do. Definitely not take their shirts off because that's just rude.
Did you watch any of the World Cup? Because I don't think I watched. I think I did. I watched the last one and the one before that. I watched some of it, but do you think it'd have legs, James, to have the women play their football? Like the Makita tournament, you'd have 2 games a day. Do you think it would have legs to have the women play their Premier League games before the Arsenal men play their game at home?
Yeah, I think that would help it as well. I know more and more people are getting into it, which will help. But I think it is the whole stadium thing as well. I mean, I think now, especially with Arsenal ladies, the way that, Ian Wright's been speaking about them. I mean, Ramsdale put out the tweet today about it and everything. and I believe the North London derby coming up is going to be sold out as well as this one. I think if they put more games on in the Emirates, they would sell it. I think there is it's the whole supply and demand thing, isn't it? I think it is there. Just it's not as accessible as the men's game, and sadly, I don't think it ever will be.
I think we need a few superstars, don't we? Someone like, oh, you've got to watch her. She's awesome. Yeah. And I know they'll probably always say, oh, she'd play for the men's side and she'd get into the man's team and all that sort of thing, which you don't really want that sort of talk because that's kind of pointless, because they're not, well, I don't think they're allowed to play in the men's side. I think that's one of the rules to play football.
I think there's up to at the age of 12, you're allowed to have mixed sides.
No, I meant like, in the, Premiership and things like that.
I tell you what, my Dima could do a job for a League Two side, possibly, maybe even better. She's
I'm not saying. I'm saying, by the rules, I don't think they're allowed to play for the men's side. But I don't know. Like I say, just promote some of the players and get us to watch them and interviews and stuff like that. But the problem is how the media are now with players. They don't trust them because they always try to get them to make them say something that's going to get hits and clicks. So, I mean, we always used to have, like, every Sunday in the papers, you used to get interviews with this player, interviews with that manager, and you'd talk to them and you'd get to know them. You'd see them on, they'd all go on TV and Sky, and you'd all tell you funny, interesting stories and stuff like that. And they just don't do it now because all they want them to do is say something they don't want them to say, and they could slaughter them in in the next day's paper and online. So I don't know if they could do that anymore.
Phil and Jimmy have been twats, Nick. I should let my Sean read that and she'd give a pair of them and chin the pair of them. I watch it. I like it. It just needs to be on a regular time, on a regular day, on a regular channel, like James was saying. They're playing now, and if after this, I'm going to go and put it on YouTube. And I was more into it a couple of years ago when it was Maidema and Van der Donk, and they were those two. It was like watching Henry and Bergkamp. Actually, no, because Bergkamp, Henry was. I suppose Henry was tall. Yeah, like Maidema's tall, and Van Donk was doing all the magic behind. So they were my two.
Like Saturday and Sunday mornings at like 10 o'clock or something in the morning. So it'd be before the men's game. So it's like, like an appetizer to football rather than, filling up at the end once we're already full, try to eat more or something.
I think if the Premier League wanted to do something about it, have the game so it finishes half an hour before the men's game starts. All Premier League pitches can now cope with it. Most of the teams that are in the Women's League have got affiliated with the men's team. And if you did that, people turn up for a couple of hours early, make it no extra fee. And then you could incorporate it, work it, have the calendar working together, have the games mixed up, maybe even say on TV before, try and have could you do the relating fixtures? I don't think you could because there's 20 Premier League teams. I think there's only 10 or 12 in the Women's League. So you couldn't have like if it was Arsenal Spurs for the men, you couldn't have Arsenal Spurs for the women. Oh, you could do. Maybe you could do it that way around. I think they need to work together and try and make the game. Because if they did have the women's games on before the men's one, I'd turn up 2 hours before the men's game just to watch it. Think, yeah, I'd like to see it, see what's going on. Put them on a bigger stage. But you need regular times, like James was saying. You need to go. Yeah, it's midday on a Saturday. That's when, for all I know, that could be when they play. I've not actually checked that before. I agree with you, James.
I think the last food was normally 8 p.m. on a Saturday or Sunday night, something like that.
Yeah, they're really.
A few years ago, most people would have left before the men's game would have started to some of the football we were playing.
That's true. That would have been the highlight, just watching the women play because they were decent. Anyway, yeah, good question. I do like it, and then if we could do anything to promote the women's game. Plus, I think a lot of people get into it because it's a bit hip and trendy at the moment. Like ABW have been doing scores on the doors since 2013. We've stopped doing it now. We used to say how the women are doing, where the league table was, the game they've just played, who scored the goals. You go back and listen to old ABW. We were the first to do women's football. So maybe I should bring about the scores on the doors. But in fact, we used to do it at the beginning of the show and people used to moan. So then we put it on the back of the show and then I forgot to do it. So maybe we should do it again. Loki says Beth Mead is a good player. We've got loads of really good players. Questions. We've got 3 questions and then we are done. From Sky, I'm going to call you because I don't know how to pronounce the rest of it. I I might move away from the topic now, but could Jed Spencer from Middlesbrough on loan to Forest be something we need? At least the game against Arsenal and Liverpool, I think he has been as good as Cedric, if not better. Hard 1v1 and going on attack, James. What do you think?
Yeah, I would not be adverse to signing him. However, I look at it and think when Cedric's come in and what he's done, he's completely proved me wrong on what type of player that I thought he was. I think he's actually been very, very good. I've been quite impressed with him. He put in a lovely cross before the goal at the weekend as well, just in that build-up that when Xhaka headed it down to try and get to somebody, and then they cleared it and it went to Saka and he smashed it in the back of the net. So, yeah, I wouldn't be adverse to Cedric staying a bit longer if he's going to keep putting in performances like that. And then you've got is it Brooke Norton, Crafty, whatever his name is. He's at Lincoln, the young lad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's been talked about like he's the second coming of Christ. So if we've got another young player like that, I would like to see him integrated in, especially if he's as good as everybody talks him up to be. I don't watch Lincoln, so I can't really comment much, but I've heard nothing but good things for him. So
I think one of our listeners is. I think Loki's up near that kind of area. I'm sure he said he was.
I mean, I would rather bring someone like that through. I'd rather bring one of our own through than taking a punt on someone like this. Who is a great player. I mean, he was very good against Liverpool, and when we played them, he absolutely tore us to bits. So, not that we were great on that day anyway, but still, he absolutely smashed us to pieces that day.
Nick, do you want him? Because I had a look at his forgot to breathe there. Did his thing, looked at his stats on whoscored.com for Nottingham Forest. He's been good, and he's had the odd very good game, but that's playing in the Championship in a very good Nottingham Forest team that are surging up the league because they've got a new manager in their head. They might even make the playoffs. But, yeah, I think that if we bought him, they're going to want a lot of money for him as compared to how much money we'd have for having young Norton pulling up trees again. Still don't know what that means. Who pulls up trees? Bad people. Wrong, that's who pull up trees, Nick. People who don't care about trees. Do you think he cares about trees?
I don't know. He might be a lumberjack. I'm not sure. I mean, to be honest, I haven't got a clue who he is. But, Arteta's and, the record they've had of bringing in youngsters, if they like him and they think they're going to bring in him, I'll go with them. I'll give it, they've done really well with young players, and I don't want to spend too much money on him. I don't know what that would cost, but I mean, look, sometimes I like Cedric. I don't know where the hate came from him. It's like he didn't play for a few months because we bought Tomiyasu. Then all of a sudden, everyone started to just turn on him and saying how terrible he was. I thought, I can't remember him having all these terrible games. I mean, I know we've had players in the past like, Santos and Kolasinac that were, dreadful fullbacks at most of the time, but I can't remember him ever, properly letting us down, on a week in, week out basis. But I suppose sometimes, as they say, absence make the heart grow fonder. Maybe with Arsenal supporters, that works in reverse.
Could possibly. I apologise for. I hate it when people say If you ever listen to talk-based radio, blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah. I have to mute the radio when these idiots come on. So I've used the phrase "pulling up trees" twice, and I don't even know what it means. So sorry to any trees listening, if you are. Next question, we're going to go to get rid of that one. No, that's not how you get rid of it. You get rid of it like that. Start with you, Nick, from H. I have a question as well. What do you think about the new kits released yesterday? Would you like them at Aston Villa? Well, that bit is too late for him. But yeah, but what do you think to the new kit? Does it look like someone's had a couple of strawberry milkshakes from McDonald's and then puked them up over a white shirt?
They look a bit odd, don't they? I think, Adidas are really getting their money's worth with this sponsorships if people are buying these shirts. Because, I mean, Chris buys every home shirt or every Arsenal shirt or every season. I think he's bought about 10 this season. He's no wonder he's skint. Poor bugger, but I don't know. I still don't understand why, because what they say a few weeks ago, they made us wear different shorts as well, and it was like an experiment to see how people would take it or something. So the official club statement. So I don't know if they're thinking of changing our kits, but
Look at that fucking thing.
Is that the next season's one?
Allegedly, from people who know what they're on about, they've said yes, that's next season's kit.
I quite like that. I quite like that one. It reminds me
collars
of the
and buttons.
Yeah, it reminds me of the 96 to 98. Was it
one where Wright used to tuck it in?
Yeah, I think that's the vibe they're going for. I'd like if what they call it, the old tramp stamp. If they have the Arsenal in the black with the lettering
across
like
the
that,
arse.
I'd love if they went for that again. That'd be a must purchase if it's got the tramp
when
stamp.
they done that, George Graham went mental because we had arse written across our arse, and he forced everyone to tuck it in so they couldn't see it. We normally get about 10 shirts that are definitely 100% going to be the shirts in the summer, but I suppose only people who really know what's going to be is Adidas. But
I don't think they give a fuck.
The away kit rumour is quite good because someone posted a picture of the zip-up jacket that's going to be, and it's like an all black with gold or grey. So if we get an all black away kit, I think I'll be quite into that myself personally. I think that'd look quite cool.
Ah, good. Right. I was trying.
I did think of Chris when I saw those zebra print Stella McCartney pants that those are... I thought, he'll have them in a couple of days' time. They'll be on his Twitter soon.
Where is it? It's we got this, and then we got this one, and then we also got this one. Piss off, Carl. Anyway, right. Next question. Go back to here. Click on here from formerly knows. Nick, will you be missing Mike Dean? I hear he'll be retiring at the end of the season. I think the question is he going to stay at the PGMOL?
Yeah, I heard he's going to stay. He's going to go in the VAR and rather than referee. But I mean, I'm like a lot of people, like Mike Dean, especially his first few years, refereeing Arsenal games where he was dancing when Spurs scored against us and stuff like that. And everyone gives him so much grief. But I actually met him once down Carrow Road, and he's a really nice bloke. I mean, obviously, he thought I supported Norwich, so maybe if I'd have been wearing an Arsenal shirt, he would have sent me off. I don't know, but he's really nice. I mean, the worst referee we met down there was old, his name Clattenburg. He was not a nice player. He was just really arrogant and didn't want to talk to anyone. He was miserable, but it is what it is. And until the referees, get a better system involved, with their performances and, policing the referees, what they do and don't do, they're all going to get grief, aren't they? Because I don't think it's all their fault as well. I just think, they aren't getting as much help as they need. I mean, VAR, it's like sometimes they're telling them to do the opposite to what they want to do and things like that, and they're always undermining them. And like I say, even though the linesmen aren't allowed to flag for offside until after the play is finished. I was like, well, why not? Don't you trust them?
Yeah, that's an actual bullshit rule. I hate it. I'm trying to find it. What do you think of that, James?
Good riddance. I can't take referees that want to make the game about them. I think Kalunia was the only one that I begrudgingly gave respect. He's the only ref that's been on a video game cover. He was on one of the Pro Evos, wasn't he? But yeah, Mike Dean's always wanted to make himself, the story and everything else. And yeah, he can go. He can go for me. But the VAR thing, don't even get me started on that.
Does they give a reason?
I'm just saying he's like that. Off the pitch, he just wants to talk to everyone, wants to be everyone's mate, and I think that's just his personality. How he's really like, what's the word? Like an extrovert. He's really talking to everyone.
There is a word, but I don't want to use it.
Oh yeah, you don't want to get demonetized again.
No, not again.
Yeah, I think the VAR refs, the current refs, shouldn't know who they are. They've got no relationship with them whatsoever, because it's the whole, it's like it's the old boys club, isn't it? I've got to do your game next week. So don't you make me look silly, because I'll make you look silly the week after. I think they should know who they are. They have no relationship with them and everything else, and do it that way.
Thunder says he likes the Loan Watch. I have been meaning to do another one of those, but it takes me about 2 hours to get all the information together. We've got so many little fuckers out on loan at the moment. It's impossible to do them all. Right, I found the kits. What do you two think to this one? Training kit.
Disgusting.
Nick?
That is an Ellis shirt, isn't it? That is definitely an Ellis shirt.
We know one of ABW bought it, didn't we? Didn't I think was it Carl?
I don't know. I remember where I posted. I went, look at this horrible shirt. It's absolutely disgusting. And Ellis posted a picture of himself wearing it. That was fun. That was hilarious.
And then we got the new one. Fucking hell, state of that. That's if I press some of these buttons, does it move us all around? No. Oh. No. That one. Oh, I can leave it on that one because then I can see your happy faces. Would either of you wear that?
No. I've wore some loud stuff in my time. Yeah, not that one. Not that.
It's
That
designed
kiss
for the
was on the
ladies.
sleeve. Oh, maybe that's why I would wear it now.
Yeah, I don't know if it. No, I don't. I think it's meant to be some kind of leopard print thing. But it's for the ladies, and it's a link up with Stella McCartney. I think it's Stella McCartney, is it? No, Stella McCartney.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're correct. Yeah.
I'm thinking
Does
of
she
the
do the
vegan food.
vegetarian food?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's Linda McCartney. Sorry, that's close.
Well, there we go. That's why I was confused. And it's good for the team. It's good that the ladies are getting some recognition, getting their own kit. And as you can see there, the only player I recognise is Vivian in the middle there, because she looks like she'd elbow you in the face as soon as look at you.
So are they actually going to wear this for a game?
That's training top, I think.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Much like that shit.
Oh, well, that would be good if the women had their own separate kits every season as well, rather than the same as the men's. Because that they're wearing the same sort of kit as the men's. That's like saying they're like a watered down version of the men's. If they had their own kits, not different colour, obviously still red and white, but slightly different, that might help. So a lot of the supporters could buy the women's shirt or instead of the men's and support the women as well.
Phil Max, it looks like a pajama. Nose says, can we have a yellow and blue away kit? Not difficult, is it? That's right. Shorts look good. Thought it was a little herb garden in the middle. It's twice you said herb garden. Is that because that twat on the Tuesday Club was thinking of Haaland and said herb garden? I don't know. Do either of you two buy the kits when they come out?
I haven't bought any this season, but I did buy the, they said it was the marble halls, but it reminded me of those little ripple sort of ice creams you used to get from the van.
Raspberry ripple.
Yeah, I got that one.
The last time I bought
the first Adidas one about 2-3 seasons ago, and then I put it on a hot wash, and now it wouldn't fit a dog, so that's fine.
Oh dear, my new washing machine, you can control it with your phone. Isn't that amazing?
Why would you want to?
Because you have a look. Because have you ever seen the dials on a phone? It's like trying to launch. Dials on a washing machine, washer dryer. It's easier to launch the bloody spaceship than it's like the Enterprise. Series 6, not season, Series 6 of Next Generation. So many episodes I hadn't seen. What a magnificent series. Yes. What else was I going to do? I think that's it. I think we're all done.
I'm going to talk a little bit about Saka, talking about needing protection and Gerrard having a pop at him, because I know a few people were talking about that on the.
Oh, go on. I haven't heard that.
Well, obviously Saka after the game said when he got subbed off, he asked the ref for more protection and blah blah blah. Because he's getting, at a point he's getting kicked off the pitch, and then I think they asked something about Gerrard, and he was like, basically called him a little pussy, and he says, well, I've had all these operations, got screws in my hips, and I can't even go to the gym, and blah blah blah, just the usual salty crap from him. And so you didn't hear about that?
I vaguely no, but then again, Gerrard got some absolute kickings in midfield, didn't he, over his time?
He did some out as well.
I was going to say, yeah, he handed more of them out as well.
Oh yeah, when he wasn't busy falling over. Voyager was brilliant as well. Yes, I loved Voyager. And oddly, Tuvok from Voyager has just been in an episode of Next Generation when they try and steal the Enterprise when they're having it decontaminated. They do a lot of that. There's been quite a few of them. Blogs was talking about that one on Arscast. Talking about what? Because you're 6 seconds behind us. Oh,
Gerrard,
the Saka thing, the protection. Yeah. Gerrard can fuck off. He does. Yeah. When Saka is standing there and then against Crystal Palace and the bloke takes a kick at his leg and then he breaks his fucking leg. And this is an England, he's going to be England's star player in the next 2 or 3 years, and then he will be for ages. And the FA need to look at that and go, he's one of our best, look after him. The referees need to protect him and Grealish and all the other ones and stop these players kicking them and then trying to ruin them by tactical fouling, rotational fouling them. It's bullshit. And they'll get away with it because the referees don't give a fuck. But if you played for Liverpool or Man City, then or Spurs, because they're not that kind. See, that's the Son thing, where the bloke backheeled the ball and it barely rolled along in the area that is out of the game has been stopped, and it rolled behind him and it hit Son, and Son fell over. Have you seen that video?
Yeah, and then that sort of kicked off a bit because he was screaming, rolling around, holding his face. But that's just the media in it. I think they shoo that a little bit on Twitter, but they didn't really highlight it, on Match of the Day and stuff like that. Whereas, the agenda, like it been Arsenal, they'd be going absolutely mental. The same as I saw Ref Watch Monday morning. They were talking about Xhaka's yellow card for 3 fouls when he only made 1. And they
he went
at the end,
1, 2, 3, and Xhaka went, there's 1. What the fuck? And there's no explanation.
It's just they shoe that, and they said, oh, so that's an accumulation of fouls then. And they know he didn't make 3 fouls. And
we didn't even get a video apology, did we?
No. And that was just Dermot Gallagher, who's been ref, just laughing with the guy, like grinning like a cheshire, because I think it's funny. And it has been going on for, since the mid-2000s with Arsenal. Even... Sebu was there, Arsenal don't like it up and get in their faces and blah, that's got to stop at some point, the amount of stuff, especially when we're trying to do it back to them. And I think that's why we've been getting as many red cards as we've had since Arteta's been there, because we're starting to kick back. And over the years, our players have always been done for reacting to what other players have done. And like you said, I saw that a few weeks ago. The referees, where are all the London refs? Where are they?
There you go. Look at that for people at home and on the toilet. That's where all the referees are from. Oh, so many of them in and around Manchester. And like our Josh says, one of them's born within a mile of Old Trafford, but supports Altrincham. Fucking bullshit. How can you have the most number of clubs in the Premier League are all from London? There's probably 5 or 6. But yet there's not a single referee within 100 miles of London? It's bullshit.
I think that ref as well goes to Old Trafford. They let him go to the training ground to use the facilities and stuff like that. So he trains and works out in the United training ground, and then he still referee the United games. It's just shocking how much they lie. It goes back to they all lie about it. Graham Poll said it in his book, didn't he? After he retired, yeah, I lied. I was told to lie and said I support a lower club. I support Chelsea. And what did he say? Being part of the team that won the FA Cup in 99 or whatever, or 2000 was like the highlight of my career, and I got a medal refereeing my club, Chelsea. I'm like, well, okay, if that's how you're going to go. But if they're allowed to do it, what can you do? I think I'm pretty sure we're the only referee, group in Europe that don't have, like a governing body monitoring it. I'm pretty sure the rest of them have that, whereas they just self-monitor, which, if that's just Mike Riley saying, yeah, I like Man United, that's good. Don't like those London clubs, that's good. And that's it.
Much like Ofgem, they're all kicking us in the balls and telling us it's Christmas at the moment. Luckily, because it's just me here and I'm not awake during the daytime, my electricity's going up for £600 to £900 a year.
Yeah,
it's only money.
Nose has got a point in the chat about Ronaldo. I remember Ferguson coming out, because I remember there was a game where I think Irwin was at Wolves the year after he left United, and he kicked the crap out of Cristiano Ronaldo in his first sort of game. And then Ferguson came out and said we need protection from the younger players and stuff like that. And that kind of works. Whereas with us, that's what gets me when we say it. that can end up backfiring. Like when Arsene said, "You keep kicking all our players, someone's going to get injured," and then we had 3 broken legs within about a year or 18 months. We got 3 broken legs, and I don't expect Arteta to say it because that'll just backfire. The same with Saka. And I've been saying this for like well over 10 years. It's got to be the ex-Arsenal players like your Roy, your Parlers, all these players in the media. They've got to protect and look after the club in the media, and bring these things to attention. I haven't seen any Arsenal, ex-Arsenal player in the media come out and say, "Why is everyone picking on Xhaka all the time?" They said he had 3 yellow cards. He's only getting 1. It's just none of them do it. If anything, a lot of them. That's why they get so much grief. So a lot of them like jump on the bandwagon and then stick the boot into us, and you just don't get that at any other clubs. I mean, look at you say Liverpool are doing well at the moment. All the ex-Liverpool, they love them. They won't never say anything negative about them. That they've got players go around being racist and biting people, and then they try to justify that, don't they?
It is true. Even when in our height, James, when Arsenal, the glory Arsenal days, the referees were all everybody was on Man United side. The punters, the journalists, the referees, everybody.
But that's what we need to get back to. I'm not saying that we're going to go 49 games unbeaten. It would be lovely, but but we knew back then I think the refs even back then were worse. Do you remember? Was it Uriah Rennie? He was a dreadful referee, absolutely dreadful. Durkin, his son referees in the National League because, like I said, I go and watch Dagenham and Redburn. His son's a ref in the National League. His son's a prick as well. It just seems like it's. So we just need to keep doing what we're doing and winning these games. And like we said earlier, just getting all the salty tears, collecting them in the cups and drinking them to spur us on to do even better. Because we shouldn't even have the refs coming into the game. I know that it can happen. And if you look at the Man City game that we played at home, a lot of people said, look, we were in the ascendancy until the refs took it away from us. I think, 6 a dozen, whatever the phrase is. I just be better because we've got the talent to do it. We shouldn't even be bringing the refs into the question, really.
Sad that we have to. Right, that's the end of the show. What I'm going to do, I'm going to play because a lot of you here haven't seen the Sunday roast show that is me and Mike from the Gooners pod. So I'm going to play you the intro to that, and then I'm going to come back to these two and then see what these two think of our intro. It's only about 40 seconds long. Are you ready? This is spectacular. And Mike sang this off the cuff with no words when he made this. It's a terrible intro, but I love it. Ready?
Welcome to the Sunday roast with Mike and Danny. This is Danny and this is Mike, and we're kind of strange. We're in the tub and we drink a lot. At least one of us does. This is not Mike's body, but that is Danny's. And that's really gross. Thanks for watching the Sunday roast. We love our fans. And here's Danny's mom.
His name's Michael.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
And he's a Jew. You can tell he's a Jew. Look at
Ask him
him.
who's his daddy.
Magical moment. I can almost taste Danny. It's so close I can almost taste him. And
Well, there you go. How terrible was that?
There was a part in it where you could tell he made himself laugh as he was singing it, but he's like, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep getting. There was the voice sort of crackled where he's making himself laugh. But yeah, no, he's a top man, Magic Mike. Gotta love Magic Mike.
I love people are getting around the swear filters. Lovely. Well done, everyone. That's what I like to see. YouTube can't stop that. No ad revenue for we're going to make about in fact, one video last month, we made about £3 for the video. And then they take 25% of that, which is why I tell you people don't give us your money because they'll only take 25%. What do you think to that video, Nick? It's wonderful, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I've seen it because obviously I watch every minute of every thing the ABW puts out because I have to.
Yeah. Unlike the rest of them, they never knowingly turn up for anything.
Oh, how many times I've said something about like Ellis or Carl or Chris, and I'll never get a message later saying you cheeky twat because they're like, nah.
No. Yeah, so that's going to be this Sunday, possibly 10 p.m. It usually is 10 p.m. unless Mike's doing something different. And I think that's it. We're all done. James, thank you very much. Your second show in so far this year, second show ever. Getting a bit bored of you now.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So where else can people find you, and where can they find you on the Twitters?
So yeah, it's just at LLCoolJames91 on the Twitters, and then you'll find my own personal YouTube channel if you want to click on that and subscribe. I haven't posted anything since we lost to Brentford, but it is there if you want to, if you want to go back in time and watch Premier League predictions from like 2014, 15, or whatever else, you can. And then it's not just all football. I know you've watched a few of them, Danny, with me and my friend Tom. We spoke once about how instead of recycling, we should chuck everything in volcanoes. And then we were asking if people abroad ate gravy. And so there's that, if you want to watch that. And then there's Purely Arsenal FP on the YouTubes as well. And then I'm on the Highbury squad as well with Josh. So it's all...
Never heard of him.
Yeah, I know. And you can find me on there. So thanks again for asking. I appreciate it.
Excellent. We're going to get you back. It won't be 10 years this time. It'll be a little bit sooner. Nick, do you want to tell people where they can find you playing shit games?
How dare you? That's Nick Fights on Twitch and the Twitter. I've been playing great games. I played Lord of the Rings Return of the King the other day.
It was absolute pants. I don't know if you noticed, I had your stream on, but I wasn't chatting for about an hour and a half the other day. And I had it on. I muted the tab, but didn't mute the Twitch, so then it counted as a view.
Cooperative one with the campaign, like was it the PS2?
Yeah, but I was playing it single player and just raging the whole time.
Me and my brother used to play that so much when we were younger. It was great. The second one and the third one, they were both great.
See, Dan, this is good. See, this is man with taste with video games, not your stupid 4-point hospital.
Don't
crap.
You diss the 2-point hospital. That's a hell of a game.
Porsche. That sounds like a porno.
It is another very good game. They brought out a sequel to it. I haven't even got. I've got 2 monitors. Everything's all set up. But when my PC gets hot, Nick, my displays turn off for about 5 seconds. The screen goes black. What is that? I reckon it might be the heatsink on the paste on the processor.
Probably put a fan on your computer. That'll cool it down.
I need to put it all in a different case, really. When are you next playing on Twitch, Nick?
Tomorrow night, like 7 p.m. till 10, 11, depending on how much I drink.
What do you mean drink? You don't drink.
I always drink, so you never pay attention.
Yeah, you drink fizzy pop.
No, well, that is fizzy drink. That's got Jack Daniels in it.
You filthy swine. I don't know when we're going to be back again. I don't know. Have we got anything planned? Maybe next Wednesday we might do something. I have got this idea, which I'm not going to give out just yet because people will steal it. But it's a short half-hour show with journalists coming on and other people that we don't usually have on. So I might do that. You might see some of that if I can get any of them to fucking reply to me. But other than that, I don't know. Might try Kev. That'd be a good one. Get Kev Campbell on to do the first one. I think you'll like that. Right, people, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to everybody in the chat at home, on the bus, and having a poo. If you're having a poo, let us know in the YouTube comments. If you are new, feel free to subscribe. I don't care about the bell icon. It never bloody works anyway. If you want to go and find us on Twitch, and you can watch us on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. It's @_Bergkamp_Wonderland. Twitch is the future. It is a wonderful place to be, far more interactive than you are here. I don't know if anybody's on Twitch at the moment in there. You can put little faces and things in there. I mean, that's worth it all by itself. If you listen on iTunes, give us a 5-star review. No 4 stars. Don't fuck around. 5-star review. We've not had any of those for ages. I don't even really check, so just tell us you've done it. I'll believe you. And what else is there? I think that's about it. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I have bought my mum, I think about 100 quid on her. I don't usually bother because she's got everything. And that's it. I gave the offspring 52 quid to go and buy stuff for her mum. She put it all in the car for petrol. Cow. That's the kind of shit I'm dealing with, people. And then she hasn't even got any more money to replace it with. So
I bought my mum an iPhone. She's dropped it already.
Well, there you go. That's what. Why have you let her have it? It's not even Mother's Day till Sunday.
Because I don't know.
Well, there you go, Nick. If you'd have been like me and be strict, she wouldn't have dropped it. There you go. What a wonderful way to end the show from our mate Steph. Thanks, guys. Here for the outro and the awful Sunday roast intro. How dare you, sir? Right, we're going to go. Thank you very much, everybody, and we will see you, God knows when, up the Arsenal, I think. Going to end the show now.